Have you ever been in the car with one of those co-pilots who is helpful, not helpful? It gave me an idea of how, well, specifically what I don't want to do in health coaching, but what I think the media kind of does with science a little bit. So we were headed from one city to another to visit some friends. And I have only been driving here for a short amount of time. I have walked these cities quite a bit. So there is a big difference in finding your way around a city walking versus even biking and driving, because there's a different speed at which those markers come. So we were in the city, which I have walked around a lot, and I would maybe know it had we been going at a slower pace, but we were driving, and so I asked my co-pilot if they knew where we were going, and they said yes. And so my co-pilot was giving me directions, and then I just continued to follow the directions until we came to a dead end. And I was a little bit frustrated because we were running late. But so I asked what happened, and the co-pilot said, "Well, I thought you knew where you were." Assumptions are never safe, especially when you're assuming that someone knows something when they asked you if you knew that thing, and you had been helpful. So it was one of those, we got where we needed to go because co-pilot gave the last direction, which was really simple. You could have just said left here, and I would have said, "Oh, now I know where I am," the key phrase that would let you know that now I know where I am. Anyway, we got there, but I feel like science occasionally lets us down where they give us directions on things to do, and then the media takes that and we keep going in that direction. But there was one last thing, like, by the way, this is just an average. That would be a helpful thing to know, and this is how we measured and what we measured and how we drew our conclusions, those things that would help us to measure our own bodies, which they're all, even though we're 99.9% genetically similar, we have very different backgrounds that we grow up in and different cultures that we live in. And so being able to measure that thing on ourselves, we live in an age of information. We can take these measurements. And so getting to know the skeletal structure of the science, that's what I'm going to be trying to help people to do on their own, so that they can find their way around their own city that they are living in, that they were walking, but now they are driving because of the information age. So reorienting. But I'm sorry if you've ever had one of those co-pilots. It's very frustrating. But just remember next time, because there will probably be a next time, that anger is a temptation. So maybe think about what are some things that tempt you to be angry? And how do you react to those things? I remember that my reaction was... My brain sees what I want to do to release that frustration, to express that anger, which usually is slamming doors. That really, that calms me down. But when I choose not to do that, my brain, I shut it slow enough and I can see my brain slamming the door 5 or 6 times as I slowly close the door. Anyway, what angers you? What is your reaction to that? Is it helpful? And how would you change it so that you are acting rather than reacting? Since you are, in fact, an agent of your own will. Leave comments below. I'd love to hear it. Thanks.